Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with another installment of Rabbi E in 3, brought to you by MEOR, Washington, D.C. Please visit our website, MEORDC.com, or find us on Facebook and learn about our programs. Okay, name the novel that starts with this line: "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." Charles Dickens' Tale of Two Cities, you got it. Great book, haven't read it in a long time, but that line, best of times, worst of times, or let's flip it around, worst of times, yet best of times, describes this Shabbos coming up. Why? We're in the middle of the darkest part of the Jewish calendar, the 3 weeks, and actually now the 9 days, from the 1st of Av leading up to Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, the day on which both temples were destroyed and many other tragic events occurred. It's a time of mourning in Jewish law. No haircuts, no shaving, that's why I'm a little scruffy here, no weddings. A time when we're supposed to reflect on how we've caused a rupture in our connection to God, so to speak. We, our ancestors, caused the destruction of the temple with their actions, and we prevent the temple from being rebuilt with our actions, because the rabbis say every generation in which the temple has not been rebuilt is as if it's destroyed in that generation. So it's a time when we focus on how the world is unredeemed and broken and so far away from a closeness to God and the spiritual elevation of old, when the temple stood and when people could walk into the temple, Jew or Gentile, and feel the presence of God. We live in a time since then of the hiddenness of God, and very profoundly in many ways in our day now, so our times now. So we focus on the distance between us and Hashem. That's the worst of times. What's the best of times? Shabbos. On Shabbos, there's no mourning. On Shabbos, we eat and we drink. We don't show any signs. Actually, our rabbis say it's as if the temple is not destroyed on Shabbos. The light, the spiritual light of the temple times exists, in a sense, on Shabbos all the time, because Shabbos is the celebration of the covenant, the eternal covenant between God and the Jewish people, the eternal love between God and His children. So, in the midst of the mourning, we stop mourning and love and feel the love of God on Shabbos. And this Shabbos is special because we read the first chapter of the book of Isaiah. That's always the Haftorah read right before Tisha B'Av. And in that, God says through the prophet Isaiah, "Children have I raised, but they have rebelled against me." And the great Slonim Rabbi, in his book Nesivo Shalom, says, we see that from that verse, children I have raised, but they've rebelled against me. Even when we rebel, we're still called banim, we're still called children. So this Shabbos, on every Shabbos, we feel the closeness, no matter what our situation is, that closeness to God that's unbreakable. But on this Shabbos, right before the darkest day of the year, we read these words of Isaiah that remind us, the Slonim Rebbe says, that we're children even when we rebelled against God. There's closeness always. May we have a beautiful Shabbos and a meaningful Tisha B'Av.